Hello, I'm Mike and welcome to the workshop. And once again we're back in prop land. So this week I need to make a cane for our Madame Giry in the production of Phantom of the Opera. So let's roll the intro! So, if you have a look up here, you can see Madame Giry's cane, which tapers from about 30mm down to half an inch. That's roughly chest height with a straight elbow, or 90-degree elbow. And on the top, we have this little cap, shall we say, which is a handhold. So I zoom in on that viewfolder here, we can see that this is actually from a West End production, and it's just wood painted in ivory effect, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So I have myself a beach shovel handle here. That's going to form the main body of my what's it called again? Of my cane. Now we're going to turn a poplar piece on the top. I'm going to paint it a nice ivory colour. Paint this black. Do a little bit of magic for our ferrule, and this will be ready for the show. So this is going to be a very simple one. I'll bring it down to the bench. I'll show you what the plan is. So you join me in the heat of the action here. What I've done is I've created this little tray here with 45s to sit the handle in, and I'm just working my way down, taking nearly nothing at the top, down to the round here at the end. That's going to be our ferrule. I'll work my way slowly around. You've seen me use this method before. I want to get a sort of off square shape, then I'll knock off the corners to give me an octagon, and work my way around until I have a perfectly smooth transition. So as I'm working this down, I'm constantly keeping a level on it here to make sure I'm going in a flat plane. Now this is the way that traditionally snooker cues are made. They cut out a square of ash, they work it down from one end to the other, again square, octagon, until it's perfectly round. So I won't worry with too much of that. I'll just start on this side and come back to you when we're a bit rounder. So after much planing and sweating, we're getting there. It's definitely tapering from one down to the other. Now I'm going to start taking off my points, and for that I'm just going to use my little block plane. It's handier because you're only working on a very fine edge. The exact same thing in reverse. I'm just going to walk my way up. So I get down to the round here and nothing at the top. Now lie, this is a slow process. Take off all the points and then I want to sight down it. So you can put it with your eye and look down it, and you'll be able to see then if it's curling off to one side. You'll be able to feel and see if it's ovoid. You just slowly work your way down until you're happy that it's straight, circular. but this is a slow process, so it might be time to put on your favourite audiobook. Some of you might have thought there was a sponsorship going there. I wish. I'd love some of their money. I mean, after giving Audible. Whew, way too much. Anyway, back to work. So now after quite a bit of time, we have this feeling pretty good. Next step then is sand it. Sanding will knock off all those little facets we have left. I'm using an easy grit here because I'm also shaping. Now just rotate it here in the corner, get around till I feel it's round, and then I'll just feel with my hands when I have it sanded. Any ridges I've missed, I'll come back with the plane, I'll knock them off, I'll come back, sand again until I'm happy that it's smooth, cylindrical the whole way down. Again, this is a cone, but I am going to keep using the word cylindrical. And then that's pretty much this bit done. We'll be moving on to the pommel that goes on the top, which will be turning. And for that, we're going to need a glue up. Now we have the long tapered part of our stick, nice sanded, ready to go. It's time to start painting this. So I'm going to apply a coat of primer and then 2 coats of high gloss black, and I have a piece of tape here at the bottom which we'll explain later because I don't want paint going on this point. But the first thing I want to do is I want to find the center on this. I recommend everyone, if you're going to do a lot of turning or even just a lot of general work, as you buy one of these are a center finder. They're about 5 or 6 quid. They're made of plastic. But basically for a round or an odd shape, they're the best thing in the world. You just put it into the little groove here and mark center line, and then wherever you do it a couple of times and where all those lines match up, you have the exact center of your circle. I'll do it just once more. There you go, no guessing. Perfect center. I want to know what the center is because I'm going to put a dowel in here to join on the pommel, which goes on top. But also, for now, I'm going to put in a little hook, which will allow me to hang this up when it's primed. I'll be priming it with a brush, and then sanding it back, and then I'll be finishing with spray can lacquer. This allows me to spray it easier. So we're just going to drill a little hole and put in that little tap ring. Batteries. See what happens. Right, now I was lucky, I was able to find this chunk, this teak. I was going to use poplar, but when I was drawing it I needed to scale it up. But for this, because it's going to be vintage, you can glue 40 pieces together. Now, I've went through how to do this several times. There's a video card up here somewhere. To my woodworking 101. But basically what you're going to do, you start by taking your diagonals. This is a roughly square cuboid shape. So you're taking point to point, point to point, that gives you your centre. I'll bring you in and show you. So I'm just going to go corner to corner. Then corner to corner. Now I have my centre point. So I'll mark my centre point with a Cradle. Sharpen my Cradle. And then what I'll do is I will take a prescribing circle here. We'll just mark from that centre point as large a circle as will fit in this side. Go a little bit smaller. A little smaller again. I'll just mark over. There you go. That'll get all the way around. So as large a circle as will fit in this. And then we will get out our little 45-degree gauge and mark where those intersect to give us a line. We will then cut off or plane down those corners to give us an octagon to reduce the amount of planing we need to do. So you do that on both sides. Join up the lines, let's just say they're here, and then you can plane down to that line. I'm going to do it on my saw, but next you'll see I'll be placing this in the lathe. Since we came as Miss Dolly, the name precisely she never rests. She's all primed. It's time to start painting. So for this I need to create a series of buttons down along around the sides. There's 7 rows of them. So all I did for that was I cut a piece of paper, wrapped it around, and cut it to the exact circumference of this, and then I divided up that piece of paper. That'll give me all my lines, and I did the same for the heights. So now all I need to do is to just tape this piece in place, and I'll be able to mark where my lines are. Now you can see these lines. I'll be able to put a mark on all the intersections. And I'm going to add just a few little screw holes to create these buttons. And the actual thing, they're raised, but for our purposes, we'll do it the other way. You can see I have a series of little cross marks. Marking from my Cradle, and we'll drill a little hole. So I won't worry about doing this for all of them, but we'll do this one. I'm going to use this little tiny wee countersink. I'll lift that down, drop to the countersink. I'll then fill these holes with black paint. Alright, so now we have our series of little holes done. It's time to start painting. Now, I did a little bit of research on a little photo up here. The original, what's actually the original, the stage used one, has an ivory effect colour to it. So for that, we're going to use a bit of white and a little bit of yellow ochre, just to give it that slightly yellowed effect that you get with ivory. We'll do this whole thing, and then we'll attack it with a hairdryer. This will help dry it a bit quicker. It'll also slightly crack it to give it a texture, and then go over here and fill all these dots with black. So that's enough of me talking. Let's get down to it. That's our pommel done. Painting is not my strong suit, but the closest person will be 15 feet away. That'll be fine. Now, I'll let it dry a little bit, properly dry, then a couple of clear coats, make sure the paint doesn't come off on someone's hand, and then we're ready to make two become one. So the main bottom here is a couple of coats of gloss black, and it is looking pretty cool. So we're going to peel off this with a masking tape and create our pommel. For this, we're just going to use aluminium tape. So handy when you're making props, you're making knives, swords, whatever. This gives you a metallic look. Costs nothing. So we're just gonna cut a little bit here. Let's make sure I have enough. We'll be able to then age this a little bit because this is meant to be a silver pommel. The reason that I masking taped or I'm sticking this on directly is twofold. One, the masking tape will give us an edge that will make the pommel, you can see there, it's creating like a little ridge, which makes the pommel look more realistic. And also this stuff will adhere much better to a timber background than it will to the raw or the paint. Sorry. So I'll just rub that off like that, make sure it gets in nice and tight. And already that's looking pretty good. To give this a little bit of patina, I'm just going to get some of my low-tech masking tape here because I don't want to pull off my paint. Just put it on just below our pommel and stick a piece of paper on. And we want to cover up our shaft because we're going to spray a little bit of matte black. We're barely going to touch it here, just basically little splatterings. This will make it look like there's an age and a patina to that. It makes it look more metallic when there's a little bit of pitting. So very far away, just the lightest little dusting in short spurts. That'll send little bits of black on the surface. It'll just make it look a little bit more aged and realistic. You're doing exactly what you normally wouldn't do when you're spraying here. Stopping, starting, giving quick shots. That creates an uneven flow out of the nozzle when you get little spits. Now, as you can see, that looks not as shiny. Looks like it's been on the bottom of there forever. Well, we'll join these together. And here is our pommel after a few coats of clear coat to lock in that acrylic paint. So now, you must drill a hole, put a dowel in it, glue it together, and then this is ready for stage. You notice I'm doing a lot of looking around here. That's because I'm checking the bit in different directions to make sure I'm going as straight as I can. It'd be great if I could put this in the drill press, but I don't have anything long enough. And then we're on to the gluing stage. So I'm using the minimum amount of glue I can here because everything is finished already. And 2 picks are always very handy to have in the workshop. I'm just using one here to apply the glue inside. I'm applying very little glue, only the barest edge on the top, and I'm wiping any squeeze off away immediately because I don't want to damage my finish. Leather-faced hammer. Gonna get into the video on this. But just what you need for this job. And there we have it. Madame Giry's game. So, thank you as always for staying to the end of the video, and if you're around Mayo the next couple of weeks and can make it out to Ballinrobe, I highly recommend going to see the show this has been made for, when Ballinrobe Musical Society present Phantom of the Opera. If you're watching this years in the future, you missed a great show. But if you have one coming up, now you know how to make your Madame Giry. a king. Oh, and absolutely do try this at home.